The cream has been separated from the chaff.
Sorry we missed last week. A little bit of a head cold, Sookie Chris. You didn't want to see that on camera. Now that I'm old, I literally shut it down when I get sick. So the last 8 days, I haven't done anything over about 220 watts, nothing over a 2-hour ride. I can't push through. There's no pushing through anything. Just get better. I feel better. I feel fine. I feel 100%. So that's why I'm racing tonight.
So what's the pre-match nutrition here? Well, I actually think it's less about the nutrition, just more about how it feels. So for me, I just keep it pretty simple. It's kind of why I've landed on rice bubbles as a sort of pre-ride thing. Look, am I going to be impacting my glycogen stores in a 45-minute crit long term? Probably not. But, you know, you got the potential to stuff up the next couple of days of training. So, you know, it's still worth getting right, but I still think it's more about getting the right feel of food. Holy shit, it's windy. So I'm getting a windsock thing on the hammerhead telling me 45km/h gusts. And swing around, have a look at those flags. That is a straight westerly. This has the potential to be absolute carnage. Now, the thing about the westerly, there's almost no headwind. Headwind for maybe 10% of the course, which just makes it really, really hard. Oh, Jesus, lads, we're in for one. So it's about a 40-minute ride out to this race for me, which is normally a pretty good opportunity to kind of get a sense of how the legs are, you know, little warm-up squeezes here and there. And honestly, I don't know. I suppose that's just coming, like the heart rate looks like it's gonna spike fast, but the legs feel fresh.
All right, straight into it. Tuesday night, chop or be chopped. I am so happy I ran the camera on this night because, yeah, it kind of lived up to the hype. Now, throw out everything I said a couple of weeks ago about this particular race because pretty much everything changed. Now, if you look in the bottom right, that's the track, and you see that arrow? That is the wind direction. We're getting 45, 50km/h gusts on this. So this back section of the track is the pure tailwind. And as you can see with that arrow, there's not really a huge amount of headwind anywhere on the track. So no sit-up. What does that mean power-wise? Well, I've skipped 20 minutes into this race. Let's have a look. So 20 minutes into the race, and what are we doing? So 350 normalised. What was it, I reckon it was like 300 normalised. And the result is, look behind me there. That's what's left in A grade. We had like 30 starters. That's not 30 people. This is what happens in this because you get full value for your watts. I'll explain that as we go along, but remembering also that this is still a handicap race. So there are B grade and C grade, which we still do have to catch as part of the handicap to try and win it. So this is us catching C grade for the first time. We've got to catch them twice. You can kind of sense there's a bit of a sit up here, and that's because C grade are on the actual sheltered side of the course. So you can see the wind there. So basically what is kind of happening is because we're on the windy side of it, getting past them requires them a little bit more effort. They're actually going at a decent speed. That's us shouting, stay left. And then once you get to the top of the straight, the wind sort of comes more on our nose. We'll go back into rolling turns, and that means that we can kind of blast through them. But the key to this whole night, and I'm going to play a little bit more obviously as it goes through, is just the positioning and will ultimately also fitness. And that's kind of what's really good about these particular nights. I also just wanted to throw this little bit in. I was thinking about it throughout the race, which is obviously weird, but I pretty much pedal through all the corners now. Now I've moved to 165mm cranks. And yeah, I've certainly noticed now. Now, obviously there's more going on here. Like be careful with like the lean angle of your bike and pedaling through these different things. I don't want people just throwing their bikes in and pedaling through and hitting their pedals. But in fact, this corner up here, this right-hander is the one where people tend to hit their pedals. So also just be careful with that. Okay, pure tailwind here. I want to show you. This is what I remember, full value for your power. So two guys on the front are probably doing like 500-600 watts. Well, guess what? I've got to do that as well. So it's flat and it's a pure tailwind. And so that's why in a circumstance like this, it's so hard because you're able to stay towards the front, put power out, and the guys behind are almost having to do more a lot of the time with that kind of slingshot effect that can take place. Spoiler alert, that guy on the front, Kurt Ether, has a lot of these watts, has won big races. The other thing to kind of note is my positioning, and this can sort of play with you mentally, because obviously I'm hurting, right? I know I'm hurting, but I still feel there's value in me riding towards the front and rolling turns. And ultimately there is actually value in that, but it's hard because you look behind and go, oh, there's lots of people back there. This isn't a good idea. I'm being stupid. But in these circumstances, staying towards the front, rolling turns is still valuable.
That's 4 to go. I'm pretty fucked. We're about to catch B grade.
Okay, so we are about to catch B grade, which means we're going to catch the front of the race. So you look behind me there, there's not many left. There's like 10, 12 guys left in the race. Personally, at this point, so the way I gauge my chances, the way I'm sort of feeling is I'm not recovering from efforts very quickly. So for me to do well in a night like tonight, if I'm going to win, like get a result from like, you know, essentially like a sprint or something like that, I need my legs to be able to recover really quickly from lots of these efforts. I'm feeling like that's not the case. I know that's not the case. The power's there. You know, if this is a long road race, I might be able to ride my way into it, but that recovery that you get in the legs is not there. I know that now. So that therefore means I'm sort of changing my ambitions for this race. Firstly, it's get through these grades. This is always the nastiest one. Getting through B grade, always the nastiest. Bunny hop. But lucky for us there, we caught them on the downwind section, so we were able to really come at them with speed. What did I say about pedal strikes? Hear that? That is a pedal strike on that corner. Watch that. Okay, so here we go. We are catching C grade for the second and final time, which means get through this and attempt to kind of reassess where we are. Now we're catching them on the downwind section again, and look, this is where this is great. We're now starting, like you can see, fighting for position, right? Holding lines, all this kind of stuff, and this is where these 360 cameras is nuts.
Stay left!
Let's go through. Obviously, this is one of these circumstances, right, where it pays to be further up. You know, if you're the first 2 or 3 wheels going through the grade, like I was when we went through B grade, it's a lot smoother grade, and you get these clowns chopping you off. It's a great little fight for position. Tip it in through this corner. Pretty much through, through C grade now. So let's spin back and try and get a look. So there's already, like we've gone through C grade and B grade. It's already starting to thin out a bit. Now we're going to be left gutter here, and the fight for position's going to be on. What do we got? I should probably try and chop. I could chop left there.
Reach left.
Little agreement there between Ben and myself, all good. And I'm probably in the worst, probably came out the worst of that. I could have chopped in left, but kind of holding my line there as much as possible. Coming down the straight for the second last time, about to take the bell.
Hold the shoe.
And I've kind of lost position, like a lack of concentration, potentially bit of fitness, like that sort of pop that I'm talking about, but I've kind of just found myself. So the guy in front, that's a white number. That's a B grade number. Look, tonight is clearly turning into just one of these like survival nights. It's like, yeah, there is certainly a kind of, got to the end of that one. But here's my chance. Take the bell. Go. There's your gap. There's the gap to move up. Gone. Like, yep. Now, what would have that meant? It meant potentially you get to the front of that little pocket that you're in now, but now you're in the pocket. You've just got to accept that, you know, we'll spin the camera around a little bit, have a look at it. You kind of just got to accept where you are here.
Push up, Gwyn, go now.
So that's me just saying to Gwyn, push up, because if he pushed up there onto the yellow shoes wheel, there's a little gap opens up. He's kind of sat a bit further back. Maybe he's going to take a run at it, because we know right here it's just going to go full strung out. Is there another chance coming on the left? Be aware, be ready for it. Potentially there, that gets taken. Yeah, I've just not got what's required here. We're going to continue to fight for wheels here and push out once. Let's keep an eye on this.
Push up there.
So let him in. Again, really, essentially a mistake, but then drops the wheel there, and I have to sit back off the gas as well, lose momentum there. Would it have made any difference? Not particularly. But some nights, it's about the tattoo that says, I got around. Pretty happy with that, actually.
You're good.
That's Heffron at its best.
Race report. This current season, season 41? 41, hardest Heffron of season 41. The cream has been separated from the chaff. B grade is getting bigger.
That was about as hard as it gets. The westerly's the nastiest of all the wins. Tonight was for pure A graders that finished. They're the strong strongmen. It was very, very cool to watch.
Elizabeth just wanted to make sure that I'm not getting any credit for helping Kira with her homework. 100%. No credit. No credit for the boys. All credit for the girls.
Credit when it's due.
No credit for the boys.
You have egg. You have egg all
Do it.
Seriously.
Peggy ate a fishing hook last week, and you did, and you ate it, and it went down your throat, and it was a little bit scary for everyone. But Peggy is okay. She didn't need an operation. They did an amazing job as a emergency vet just outside of Leichhardt, and they did an incredible job. Peggy is fighting fit, and thankfully it didn't cost. It wasn't S-Works money. It was giant money. We will do more interesting things and just continually going back to the same places, I promise. In fact, this weekend, hopefully we'll get around to a new event. It's not a new event. The Rob Hodgson is a really old event here in Sydney. It has a trophy. And so we'll try and get up and do that. And rumours are that Jesse is back on a bike. So we'll certainly try and get and link up with him doing so. I've got some ideas for that. Until then, catch you soon.